back to the best Call of Duty game mode in 20 years, DMZ, an extraction shooter built off of the Warzone framework. Um, Better than any multiplayer I've seen in 20 years, and more fun than Battle Royale. It's more fun than the original Warzone. It's more fun than Warzone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever they got coming up. They dropped the ball, and they're going to give us a mobile DMZ Recon, because we've all been clamoring for more mobile games. But this is the best game mode in 20 years, and if you haven't played it, if you haven't given it a shot, it's free. Free to download, free to play. Um, it is quite a pain in the butt to download. Last time I had to do it, it's several different packs, but you don't have to spend a dime to play the best game mode they've made in 20 years, and I encourage you to do it. It's not going to be around forever. The cheater and glitcher issues are just going to get worse over time. There's no support for this game, no updates, nobody's moderating it. Completely automatic systems, AI systems for their anti-cheat system called Ricochet. If you do run into a cheater or a glitcher, it's really hit or miss trying to get them booted out of a game. But besides all that, you can still have a lot of fun. Last night I had an absolutely killer raid with a couple of buddies, and we ended up netting, I believe, something like 14 kills between us. Several different team wipes, and some really good moments, some really good vehicle play. I had a good clutch, and it was a successful exfil as well. So check out that last stream. It is worth it, and it was some of the most fun I've had on this game, because I've been building up my confidence, training more, getting into more fights, dying a lot, but learning from every engagement, and trying to talk myself and my teammates through why and how we died, and how to not make those mistakes in the future. And the only way to get better at fighting other teams is to actually fight other teams and try new things, try things you're uncomfortable with, and to become more familiar with your own limitations, and to try to expand those limitations by playing on the edge and not playing comfortably, not doing things, not only playing in a way that will work, camping in a corner with the shotgun, staying on a rooftop all game, sniping from high rise all game, throwing proxy mines down on the zips, glitching, using the Crochet glitch. You don't have to resort to cheating to get high kill games. And if you do resort to cheating, you are not respected by anyone. Doesn't matter if you're a streamer or if you wipe the whole lobby. Nobody's going to ever respect you for doing that. But they will respect someone who just has talent and skill that they've worked for. So I've just loaded in for actually I was playing earlier today offline, as the streamers say, just not streaming, but I actually, no, you know what, I might have been streaming on that one. Sorry. but but this is what we came out with, and this is my insured, my modified high-rise tack build. Just a couple modifications to this from the tack 56 that you get off of that landing with the awnings that usually the HVT bot and a bunch of his guards are sitting at. One next to the SPX 80. And I'll go into that later, but pretty sure this was a 5 attachment gun when I pulled it out, but we'll take a look at it. This is just another tack. It's one of my preferred ARs, and I'll go into my reasons why I prefer that AR, even though it's probably not the best AR on paper. But we also got an SMG out of that raid. I've been playtesting more with the Bass P, which you see a lot of high-level players use. This is Dylan's preferred SMG, and on paper this is probably one of the best SMGs in the game, probably one of the top 2, if not the top 1. But it's not actually my personally preferred SMG, and I'll go into that later and why that is. But we got out of that raid with a UAV. I very rarely get out of raids with kill streaks. I'm usually using them or saving them even at the end of a raid for just to secure an exfil. And the UAV and the advanced UAV are top tier kill streaks, but for me, I'm a controller player. I play on a PS4 Pro with just a standard PlayStation controller, and just I believe it's just the stock bare bones default settings for the key bindings. So your key binding on a controller for your kill streak is your right D-pad button. I'm going to press my right D-pad button and go into my primary weapon slot. I'm going to press it again. I'm going to go to my secondary, press it again, go into my tactical, my lethal, and my field upgrade, and that is the button that I'm pressing now, and that's the one that's mapped to your kill streak. And this game, because of its inventory system, its backpack system, you are constantly going in and out of your bag. You're going in and out of other people's bags on the ground. You're cycling through loot caches in the world, and you're always cycling left and right in a bag and of some sort. And so this can often lead you to accidentally triggering your your kill streak when you didn't want to. We've all been there. We've all accidentally popped a bomb drone on ourselves, popped a UAV in an area where we didn't need to or want to. And the way I avoid doing that, firstly, is I actually just immediately stow UAVs and advanced UAVs in one of my first slots. And I stow them in one of my first slots so that I can get to it quicker when I open up my bag. When you open up a bag, you're going to be in the weapon slot in the bag, and you're going to cycle over to your cache and then into your items in your inventory. And so no matter how hard I'm cycling through and how much I'm flubbing my my misclicks, I'm never going to accidentally pop another UAV or a bomb drone because I have it stowed, and all it takes is one button press to open up your bag, which is down on the D-pad on a default setting, and then 1, 2 to get over to your one of your first slots here. And you're always going to want to keep your your utility items on one of your first slots and not all the way over here, so that it just simply takes you less time to get to them. And time is life in this game, as it is in any first-person shooter. but that's how you want to use your kill streaks if you're just on a standard controller with no special extra buttons or toggles or anything like that. And we got out of that raid with a med plate, which is my preferred armor system. And the reason I prefer the medic vest is that two main reasons. The first reason is, which everybody probably knows, is that you revive quicker with the med vest, and this can be an absolute lifesaver. You revive yourself quicker, and you revive your teammates quicker, and even faster with a res pistol, with a revive pistol. It's insanely fast with a revive pistol for some reason. It's probably, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that is how it always will be. The game is not updated or changed anymore, so whatever systems are in the game now are going to be in this game until they take the servers offline. So that's the first reason why I run the med plate. And then the second reason is, which is even more important than reviving quicker, is and this is the lesser known effect of the med plate, is that your base health, that is your health bar, your white health bar below your overshield, your armor plates, begins to regenerate more quickly if you have a med plate equipped. And so this vest actually allows you to play without armor at all. It's not only an armor system, but it's a health regen system. So when you're completely broken and you're taking damage into your health bar, if you can get into a position to stop taking damage, you will start to regen that base health even faster than normal. And so this will allow you to reposition, get shots on a guy, kill your incoming threats, even without any armor plates. This is obviously a big deal if you are out of armor completely. But even if you have plates, it still takes time to insert plates into your plate carrier. And that time it takes you to insert more plates could be time that you could be using to reposition, to pop a kill streak, to put shots down range, to stop the threat entirely. And so you have to always keep that in mind, and that over time that will build an additional level of confidence and will allow you to make plays that would otherwise be impossible. Now, going back to the first reason, the med plate is very important because if you're running with teammates, even in a full dead state, you're going to revive them quicker. And you're going to revive them so quickly that this will catch your enemy teams off guard, and they'll swear up and down that there was a dead guy laying in the middle of the street not but 2 seconds ago, and now he's gone. And that's because you were able to revive him with a med plate equipped and get into a position of safety or advantage faster than they were expecting. So the med plate buys you time, and time is life in this game. So another way you can use the med plate to your advantage, going back to the second reason, is that the health regeneration is quicker with the med plate. So if you are a player that uses something like smoke grenades as your tactical, you can play in your smoke without any armor and know that you're going to be regening health quicker, and this will allow you to net kills on people that are even fully plated, that can't, can't find you in the smoke. They are not running thermals or anything, and as long as they're not hitting shots on you, your health regen is going to start, and it's going to start a lot sooner than they're anticipating. So you can use this to re-peak, to re-challenge, and to pop out and start putting shots into them, uh, and start putting them on the back foot. Just a quick note about the scuba mask is that I I don't have I don't like the scuba mask because of its animation in the water. It's when you're resurfacing and diving near the surface of the water, you're constantly putting that mask on and off, which is not an issue with any other type of mask, a regular gas mask, no gas mask, or a durable. And that can get you killed, and it does get you killed a lot. And so I would suggest if you're playing on the north side of the map, on the north half of the map, you actually are going to want to switch to and where gas is a factor, like gas is spreading, uh, or even if gas is not a factor, you want to switch to some other type of mask. Um, and the only time you would always want to run a scuba mask is if you're on the south side of the map. And the reason for that is just there's just more water on the south of the map. Um, on the north side of the map, you have that river that goes through Al Mazrah City, and that's it really. And then on the south side of the map, you have that river that continues, but you also have all of that sea space. That the whole south side of the map is covered in shoreline, and so is the west side of the map. Um, so that is the time that you would want to secure a scuba. Uh, and another time you would want to secure a scuba is if you're running solo and you need that survivability, that ability to evade and escape. And oftentimes, jumping into water um, is, it may be the only shot you have of survival. Um, I would also say if you're playing in hydroelectric, that center part of the map, that's really heavy with tier 2 and 3 bots and just a lot of bots in general. Um, that will often save your life too, is if you can, if you're not even fighting other teams but trying to just survive the world, trying to survive against the bots, is if you are able to dive into the water. So large bag is also obviously preferable, but it does, um, you get more equipment slots, but the large bag is very big on your back, and it is a bright yellow. So um, enemy players will have a lot easier time spotting you at distance or what have you, and not mistaking you for a bot, for an AI. So some players like to run, a medium bag only as their biggest bag, and uh, I personally, I will always go for a large bag because I am a smoke player, and so that large bag enables me to carry an additional stack of smokes besides the one more stack that I always, prioritize. So I actually have two stacks of smokes in my bag, along with my two smokes in my tactical slot. So together, uh, I'll have 6 smokes on hand with a large bag, and then usually I'm putting like uh, a munitions box or a plate box up front in one of these 2 slots, um, and then just the rest with plates and ammunition. And if you run a large bag, you also have the ability to stow those high risk kill streaks like a UAV, an advanced UAV, and bomb drone, um, in one of those first slots. But you're always going to want to run a self-revive, an extra self-revive in your very first slot if you have access to one. Either a self-revive proper or the field upgrade, the revive pistol. And although if you do have a revive pistol, I would recommend just going ahead and equipping that. Even if you have other field upgrades, you can always stow those additional field upgrades in your first slots. And your field upgrade slot will act as a backup selfie. So if you have to burn your first selfie and you get re-knocked, you will have another chance with the res pistol. So the priority will always go to your self-revive slot if you have that item in there, and then you will use your res pistol. It's never the other way around. You'll never use your res pistol first and then go into your selfie if you have one. It's always in that order: self-revive first, then res pistol. And again, just to highlight, one of the benefits of the med plate is that a selfie pistol will be almost like an instant revive. It's near instantaneous. It's like probably something like half a second or less. Um, and just an additional note about that is that if you do have to rely on a res pistol, you cannot toggle or stop that res. And teammates cannot finish off the res. So you will end up burning that res pistol if you choose to use it. And you will also be stuck in whatever position that you stop crawling in. So you never want to use a selfie pistol out in the open, which is something you can do with a regular self-revive kit. You can start a self-revive on yourself and stop and restart at any time, and it'll save that progress towards your overall revive time. So this comes into play when, like for example, you've gotten sniped down from a great distance, and you can either see or not see where that sniper shot came from, and you're not in a position of hard cover. You can start your self-revive, stop your self-revive by just taking your hand off of that top button, the Y or the triangle button, and start, dodging shots basically. If you don't have a position of hard cover to claim nearby, you can just toggle that self-revive, dodging left and right until you can get a full selfie off. And it was a game either earlier today or yesterday where I'd gotten sniped from, I was playing on the hilltop that was just to the south of Post Office, and there was a sniper on Post Office that had taken me down, that had knocked me. And I couldn't see his glint. I didn't know exactly where he was. I knew just the general direction that the shot came from. There was also another team sniping us from high rise. So I was toggling my self-revive on and off as I was, dodging left and right. I was in the middle of a street. I was in a very bad position to have gotten downed, and I just simply did not play it correctly, and I let my knocked health go to 0. I thought I had, just slightly more time, but it ended up that sniper on Post Office had already repositioned. I saw this in the kill cam. He had already repositioned and didn't have a visual on me, so I could have, after that first, dodging sequence, I could have gone ahead and finished myself off, and that likely would have turned the tide on that fight. With me knocked first, I think one of my teammates had gone down already, so it was just 2 of us alive in a squad of 3, and then I got knocked, and I misplayed my selfie, and I let myself just go into a full dead state, and so then my single remaining living teammate uh, had to attempt to clutch, and he was wiped by uh, the post office team. So I lost that game for us simply because did not um, I did not play my selfie correctly, and I should have known better because I didn't see any sniper glint at the time, uh, and I should have just, it was better to have risked dying in a selfie animation than just letting it burn off on my own. I basically killed myself. Um, and then I'm also a knives player. The throwing knife is a uh, is a one-shot device. It'll will instantly knock even a fully plated enemy operator if you hit them in the basically in the throat or in the head, in the upper torso or in the head, um, and that has bailed me out of a lot of bad situations. It's allowed me to counter one-shot shotgun users. It's allowed me to um, survive fights that I otherwise would have lost if I didn't have this tool. So um, you may have used throwing knives in the past, and especially on a controller, it can be quite frustrating and challenging to become consistent with a throwing knife. But I encourage you to pick it back up, or to try it for the first time, uh, and to just start just practicing with it, dying with it, and getting kills with it. And it is the best way to finish a kill as well. It's an ammo saving device. In a game like DMZ that has an inventory system, you will pick your throwing knife back up if you run over it, or if you run over, the body of whoever you've just stuck with a throwing knife. So if you play it right, you'll have an infinite supply of ammunition on your lethal. Uh, the throwing knife is also, near silent, so um, it's a good opener as well as a closer, a finishing move. So if you are behind a guy, he doesn't realize you're there. Um, you can open for an easy knock or an armor break or even just some health damage if you don't manage to break him, if you hit him in the legs or something like that. And as soon as you are done with that throwing knife animation, your whatever weapon you were using at the time is going to come back into your hands. You're going to be able to fire, and that is usually enough to break or knock a guy. And there are many other use cases for the throwing knife, but that's something I can probably go into a deep dive later on. Field upgrades are probably an entirely other video, but um, what I go in with um, all the time these days is a munitions box, and that's because it just gives you the most utility, whether you're a solo player or playing within a team. And the main reason I use a munitions box is for more smokes and more knives if I happen to lose both of them. Um, but the primary reason is additional smokes. And uh, so one of the most basic ways to use a muni box is actually, if you are a smoke player, is to actually use the munitions as soon as you spawn in. And you might think like, well, I'm not out of ammo. I'm fully topped off on ammo. I'm not fighting anybody. Why would I want to waste my munitions? Uh, you're never wasting in munitions if you're using it to get more smokes besides ammunition for your guns. a munitions box is worth the price of a single smoke. You know, if you can think of a munitions box as being worth $5,000 in game, one smoke is definitely worth $5,000. One smoke can be the difference between you surviving a raid and you dying. Um, you know, you getting knocked or finished in a team fight, and you doing that to the other guy. Um, Smokes will actually disable aim assist. So if a player is shooting from within smoke, uh, he he is not going to have aim assist engaged, and many players, probably most players on controller, are over reliant on their aim assist, and just do not use aim assist to its full advantage. Um, so I am an aim assist player. I do use aim assist, and even I'm guilty of this. I'm I'm just not as good without aim assist as I am with it, and I feel that it's necessary, especially again if you're a cross-play player, if you're playing against PC players. Um, you you just will not stand a chance even against an average PC player, because of the aiming input. He has a lot more of his physical skeleton and muscle groups to draw from when he's aiming, and you only have one. You have your right thumb, and that's it. Um, and he has, all the fingers in his hand, all of his wrist, all of his forearm, all of his bicep, all of his shoulder, all of his back muscles, everything. He has everything working towards him. He has an entire side of his body where you have one digit, you have one thumb to work with. And I do feel that aim assist is necessary in a game like this. Dylan has mentioned this too. He does also believe that aim assist is necessary. You might watch other streamers and hear them complain a lot about aim assist. Even if they're a controller player, they'll get killed and they'll start complaining about aim assist for the other guy when they're also aim assist users on controller. Um, but anyway, going back to the Muni box, uh, a Muni box is going to give you the most utility. And remember, guys, you can always buy another Muni box. It's not hard to get up $5,000 in the game. You can kill a couple bots and get that. You can find that just, in a couple loot crates. You can find that sitting on shelves. You can find that in cash registers, etc. So building up $5,000 for another Muni box is nothing. It takes no time at all. Um, so that is the highest utility field upgrade in the game. And then second to that is, however controversial it is probably going to be your anti-armor rounds, that basically double the damage of whatever you're using, whatever gun you're using. And then in third place will come the armor box. So if you're running in a team with guys that have good coordination, have good communication, know what they're doing, at least one of your teammates is going to be bringing in a Muni box, and you might be the guy that brings in the armor box. And I was doing that for a while, but I found that if I brought in a Muni box, um, I was I was playing for my teammates, and also I was also playing for myself in a bigger way because I'm a smoke player. So your smokes now, they work for you, and they also work for your teammates, and they additionally work against enemy operators. So that's that's three reasons to bring in a Muni box, whereas an armor box really only has two reasons. It helps you and it helps your teammates. It does make it more difficult for an enemy operator to kill you if if you have a full inventory full of armor plates, but um, an additional smoke is going to bail you out and get you into good situations more often than just simply having plates will. Um, And remember, the when you pop a smoke, uh, it instantly starts working for you if you throw your smoke in a good location. Whereas if you're relying on your armor to get you out of something, um, it does not instantly start working for you. You do, near instantaneously put in one plate, but you still have two plates to go. So you're not, if you're in a broken state, you're not getting the full benefit of that stack of armor that you have in your pocket. You actually have to use that armor over time to get back to a normal state. And the smoke will get you to immediately to a more preferable state, to an advantageous state. And that is a proactive move on your part rather than a reactive move by trying to uh, gain health, by trying to plate up and use your armor. So that's a defensive move, whereas the smoke is an offensive move. The smoke can also be a defensive tool as well. Um, so the armor only goes one way. It only goes into defense. But a smoke and a knife will go into both offense and defense. Um, Now, even if you don't get a full armor break or a knock or a kill with a knife, um, it will immediately start putting doubts into the enemy player's mind about their survival chances for this fight. If an enemy player knows you have a throwing knife on you, if he's a high IQ player, he's going to understand that you've just become an even higher level threat to him than previously known. So um, that's one thing that I uh, have started calling out to my teammates is if I get broken or knocked or killed by a throwing knife, I will call that out to my teammates, and if the guy's visible to me, if the enemy op that's done that to me is visible, I'll call out what he looks like, what type of skin he's running, so that my teammates will know, will get a better tactical picture of uh, the of the fight that they're taking, and the clutch that they're having to do. Um, so that's just a couple notes on the field upgrades. The anti-armor rounds are very, very strong. They're you know many people consider them to be overpowered, um, and in their current state, which is their forever state, they probably are slightly overpowered. But the thing is that everybody can bring in anti-armor rounds. Um, I forget, if you're a very low level, you may not have these unlocked, but if you've been playing the game a while, you have all of your field upgrades. You may not have the armor box, but um, that is something you have to work towards more. You have more passive missions to do to get that. You actually have to unlock the rebreather first before you can start working towards the armor box. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but um, it is worth it to do those passives, by the way, to get the rebreathers in order to unlock the muni box or the armor box. Um, but the anti-armor rounds, everyone can bring those in at the start of a match, and they're not, if you're not duping or glitching or using exploits of any kind, they're not just laying around anywhere. Um, as far as I know, anti-armor rounds on the top side of Maz, on regular Mazra, not in Koche Complex, can only be found in ground loot on the passenger train. That's the green train. That's all just passenger cars with regular seats in them. Um, that's different than the what I call the cargo train, which is like a freight train. It has like open carriages. It has box cars, that kind of stuff. You you may and then besides the passenger train, which is the highest probability of those anti-armor rounds spawning in to those loot caches, is the only other place you're going to find them, to my knowledge, is very rarely uh, in what the game calls a military crate, which is a green, foot locker. Um, and that's in those foot lockers. You're going to usually find uh, tactical and lethal items. You're going to find field upgrades in them, like munitions boxes or armor boxes, recon drones, that kind of stuff. Um, and that's the only other place that I can think of that actually spawns those anti armor rounds in. So you get one chance at the beginning of a match when you load in to load in one field upgrade, and many players these days, even if they don't like, you know, being killed by them, they'll take them in, um, the anti-armor rounds, and that will that will usually be enough. Even if you're coming in a naked state without any gear, without any upgraded armor plate systems, that'll usually be enough to net you your first kill, and survive your first engagement in a team fight. Um, I actually used to, when I was coming in naked, I used to take in the anti-armor rounds, and my reasoning for that was, at this time I was still a smoke and knives player, but my reasoning was that um, I'm already at a HP disadvantage coming in with a one plate, uh, and you're loading into a match with other guys that have two and three plate systems, so they have more HP to work with. They have, and which you know basically equates to time, reaction time, and survivability. And uh, if you're coming in naked and using anti-armor rounds, you're actually negating that advantage that they have on you, um, by being able to cut through their armor quicker. So you're actually putting them on a level playing field with you as a one plate if you're able to hit enough shots in a timely manner on them. Even if you're fully plated in a three plate system, uh, it's really hard to react in time to a player that's using anti-armor rounds, especially in a good weapons platform. And uh, one thing to know about the anti-armor rounds is that it's not a consistent number of cartridges for each weapon, for each different weapon. It's actually going to be weapon dependent. So, um, if you don't get the same number of bullets, you don't get the same number of reloads of additional magazines. Uh, I believe in an in a just an average AR, something that has like a 60 round mag as its highest magazine capacity, you'll get a full magazine of anti-armor rounds, and then I think it feels like you get like half a mag of anti-armor rounds before you start going back into just normal ammunition. But like on like a light machine gun, for example, something that you can run like 100 or 150 round magazine on, or 200 round magazine. I don't even use LMGs, but you can most certainly run like 100 or 150 rounds on some of them. That's 150 rounds of anti-armor rounds. You get a full magazine of that, so that can be crazy. Like if you're putting 150 rounds downrange that are double the damage of a normal round, uh, I mean that can certainly win you a fight. Even if you're fighting at a numbers disadvantage. So I would encourage you to try out the anti-armor rounds, especially if you don't know what they do or are unfamiliar with them or don't use them often. Just give them a shot, and certainly if you're not using smokes or knives, if you're using some other combination of lethals and tacticals, definitely start bringing in those anti-armor rounds, and try them out. And I'm sure you'll find that you like them. Um, and then some other honorable mentions for the field upgrades uh, are going to be the other, like, certainly OP field upgrade beyond anti-armor rounds is dead silence. This is this is actually a really good choice to bring in. You might say, like, oh man, I'm a smoke and knives player. I need those additional smokes and knives. I need that additional ammo. Um, I need that additional armor. I need that extra damage. Well, a dead silence is is a game changer, and the reason for that is that, um, you know, if you've used dead silence before, you know what it does. It cancels out your audio. Um, so all of your walking footsteps, all of your sprinting and tack sprinting footsteps, your jumping, um, and most importantly, your climbing of ladders. Is the audio, the enemy operators in the area get absolutely no audio cues from that. So, um, but I think many people don't realize that dead silence actually refreshes, like, entirely. The entire dead silence will deplete over time, and it won't be an infinite, audio canceling device. But if you can get a kill with dead silence, um, which if you're using it properly, you certainly will get at least one kill. It will actually fully refresh, and so you can use that to completely wipe a team by yourself. Um, Even if they see you, if you're able to break line of sight with them, uh, you are able to. You can instantly repeak. You can take a ladder. You can jump down, jump up somewhere, start sprinting away at full speed, and they have no idea where you are. Just based on audio. Um, so if you can break into a door, close the door behind you, and you can keep moving as fast or as slow as you want, and that dead silence is still working for you in a fully refreshed state after you get a kill. So I've seen several high level players um, use take opt to take in dead silence as their field upgrade of choice when they first load into the match, and that is going to be working for you right off the bat in your very first engagement, the same way that anti-armor rounds are working for you. So that is uh, basically a guaranteed kill, or armor break or knock at least. And sometimes, many times, it's just that little extra advantage, that little nudge you need to make or break a team fight and an entire raid. Um, you know, One single use of dead silence can get you the highest kill rate you've ever gotten in your life. It can allow you to wipe the map. One single use of anti-armor rounds does the same. And a couple other honorable mentions are going to be the portable radar. This acts as a very small UAV that you can deploy at any time or in any location. It does stick to any surface that you throw it onto, so this means that it sticks onto vehicles as well. Um, I think it actually, uh, as with a trophy system, if you do use it on a vehicle, it may actually um, go away faster. It may not last as long as if you were to leave it on, like, a static object, like a floor or something like that. So just keep that in mind. But the portable radar is very good, and the recon drone is actually very good too. The recon drone gives you it's a manual UAV basically. Um, it has a it goes into normal camera vision, and it also has thermal as well. So and you might say like, why would I want to use thermal? It's not nighttime. It's not I'm not maybe there's not any smoke players around. It's broad daylight in Al Mazrah, but in Mazrah you have to keep in mind that Mazrah is mostly open desert. It's all just brown, sandy desert, and uh, it can be quite hard, especially at distance, to if a player is not moving, or even if he is, to pick up on enemy operators, because the entire world is populated by bots. So whatever you're seeing around you, more likely than not is going to be a bot, and the thermal will allow you to uh, basically get a better visual on players even in broad daylight out in the open, because it will give you a silhouette of that player. And if you play the game enough and you're a keen observer, you'll start to notice differences between player models and bot models, the types of weapons that bots carry, the type of weapons that players carry, the type of attachments that on those weapons. Um, a lot of players use long barrels on their guns to boost their damage range and bullet velocity, and this is often a dead giveaway. A lot of players use suppressors on their guns, and the only suppressors that bots use are the tier 3 bots that will uh, infill in as reinforcements when you're doing like a weapon stash contract, and that's or like you know and that's basically it. That's the only time a bot's going to have an actual suppressor on their gun, and it's not a gigantic suppressor like that are available to players. It's a quite a small suppressor, so it's not even really noticeable until a bot starts shooting with it, until you hear a bot shooting with it. So, um, like for example, players build out their shotguns to do, uh, you know, to do your entire armor and health bars worth of damage in one shot shotgun. And the way to do that is to build out a shotgun with the longest possible barrel and a suppressor that gives them the most damage range possible. And this is going to be the biggest suppressor. So a player running around with a huge barrel and a huge suppressor on their gun is going to be very distinctive, especially if you can see them in a closer proximity on a recon drone. So, um, and you're there. Every building in El Mazrah is inhabitable. There are many different grade levels, which is to say elevation levels in the game. Hills, mountains, valleys, all of that, and that can be and all of that can be in play in one point of interest in one area of the map. So if you have a recon drone, uh, this will allow you to get a better tactical picture of what's immediately around you. So you can start figuring out where those shots are coming from, um, where that enemy team is engaging you from, and start making a game plan to how to get to them, how to kill them, how to survive, how to retreat, what the best course of egress is, exit. Um, you know, uh, and then a couple other honorable mentions for the field upgrades are going to be uh, probably the Battle Rage is the most underused field upgrade, but closest to being overpowered. Like the anti-armor rounds and dead silences. And let's see what it says here. It says experimental stimulant that gives you an adrenaline rush. Health regenerates quickly. Tactical equipment is resisted, and tactical sprint is constantly refreshed. So what this means in like non-coded language is that your base health regen is going to come back quicker, as if you're wearing a med plate. Your tactical sprint, your fastest movement ability, your ability to move fastest, is going to be infinite. So you're never going to stop tactical sprinting if you choose to. And tactical equipment is resisted. So this is this is probably its least known perk, but tactical equipment is this doesn't make smoke go away or anything, but this will negate everything except for uh, it may even have an effect on the spotter scope or the heartbeat sensor, but uh, besides the smoke, the spotter scope, and the heartbeat sensor, it will, and besides the decoy grenade, which is a completely passive thing, it doesn't have any real active effect on you. It will resist all other tacticals. So you will not be flashed as long, or you may not be flashed at all. You will not be affected by a shock stick, or you may be affected for a much shorter time. You will not be stunned as long, or you may not be stunned at all. Um, uh, you may not even show up on a snapshot grenade, and you may not have uh, the effects of a tear gas grenade. So besides the heartbeat sensor, which nobody uses, nobody brings that in. I haven't seen a single player use that heartbeat sensor in months, if not years. Um, People still do use the stim, but again, that's a um, it's not affecting enemy players. It's only affecting your health status and your mobility status. And there's nothing you can do to break a smoke. So that's also why I choose. That's one of the reasons why I choose to run smokes. But besides that, all of the other like offensive tactical options are going to be resisted, and that's huge. That is like, you're running around like a demon. You're screaming your head off. You're, you know, regening your health quicker, and uh, there's nothing anybody can do to slow you down. So um, that's like a med plate effect on steroids. Uh, the battle rage is always a great option if you find one in match, and you don't have a res pistol, or you don't need one. Maybe you have a one or two backup selfies properly stowed. The battle rage is actually a really good option to keep on that open field upgrade slot. Um, and you always want to, if possible, preemptively pop a battle rage. You want to pop a battle rage just before a gunfight, um, to really go like, full demon mode. Uh, you can also pop a battle rage in a defensive uh, mode. You can pop a battle rage to get yourself out of a nasty situation. Um, if you're being shot from multiple angles, if you don't know where the shots are coming from, if you need to cross a great distance out in the open with no hard cover to use, um, even in a building, if in like especially like a multi-story building, um, you can just run around faster and reposition faster, get around guys, get behind them, uh, get out of the building, get to the second floor of a building faster, using a staircase, what have you. So the battle rage is, you should definitely start using the battle rage. Uh, I think probably everybody at this point understands what anti-armor rounds are and use them at every opportunity, but nobody uses the battle rage. Nobody takes this in as their preferred field upgrade when you first spawn in. I've never ever seen that on any of my teammates. I've never done this myself, um, but this is a great in-game item. So you get a lot more utility from your other field upgrades, but if you find this in match, definitely pick it up. Put it in your field upgrade slot or stow it in your bag and be ready to cycle to it and equip it and then pop it in a preemptive manner before a gunfight. Um, you're only going to be able to use a battle rage defensively if you have it equipped in your field upgrade. So, you know, if you have the choice, if it is the best choice or the only choice, put that battle rage in the field upgrade slot and just let it sit there. If you have teammates or if you have extra selfies, um, you don't have to worry about a res pistol. Even if you come across one, don't worry about it. If the choice is between in that scenario, if the choice is between a res pistol or a battle rage, take the battle rage. Trust me on that one. But don't just trust me, just actually try it. Um, and and that's about it. And then besides that, when I'm going into a raid, I like to take in cash with me no matter what the circumstances. If I have cash on me, I'm quite low on cash right now, so I'm going to have to do some regain runs here in the near future. But uh, you know, the minimum amount of cash that you're going to want to take on you if you're something like a smoke player is going to be $5,000. And why is that? That is because that's what a munitions box costs at a buy station. Um, and so even if you're taking in a muni, you're going to take in $5,000. Uh, that's actually not the bare minimum you would take in. The bare minimum you would take in uh, if you're naked and you're very, very low on cash is $1,000, and that'll buy you, if you have all of your passive upgrades done, uh, that will buy you a stack of 10 plates um, at $100 a plate. And if you have a large bag or a medium bag, the minimum that you would want to take in is $2,000, and that will get you 20 plates, and that is enough to, so 369, 369, that's 20 right there abouts, and then you have 2 or 3 additional slots to play with for anything else you might find in match. So $2,000 on a large bag will completely fill your bag with plates. You just spam that buy button at the buy station, and you're completely fine on plates right at the start of a match. And that's assuming that none of your teammates or yourself are going to bring in something like an armor box or a haunted box. And I'll have to show you in game, but I'm pretty sure I've done more testing with this, and I'm pretty sure this works. But you can't see this in menu. You can only see this in game. In game, you'll have your full um, inventory system, so you actually have a couple more slots available to you. And one of your, like for example, like in this menu on the right side of the menu, you don't have your kill streak, your gas mask, or your selfie slots, but in game you have all of those. And in addition to that, you also have a slot that is your starting armor plate slot. And at the start of a match, um, you know, having all of your field upgrades or your passives done, you're going to start with a stack of 3 plates in that slot. And when you go to hit an armor box field upgrade, um, you actually, what you want to do is drop those 3 plates before you hit your armor box. And the armor box will, it says this somewhere, I think it's just in-game only that it says this. Um, the only place it says this is as a prompt when you're looking at the armor box, and you have that prompt to use whatever key binding you have mapped to as your interact button, which on a standard PlayStation controller is going to be your square button. Um, it says on that prompt, refill your armor and reserves, and what that means is and reserves is referring to that tiny slot of 3 plates in your bag, like below your bag actually. And if you drop that stack of plates, you'll actually you'll end up netting 3 more plates than normal. If you have your stack of plates already filled in that slot, it'll only give you a couple more stacks of plates. But if you drop that stack of plates in your little plate slot, you'll fill that slot up, and you'll get all of that additional armor. So again, I'm not 100% sure. I'm something like 90% sure, 95% sure, but this could just be I could be crazy, but I've actually started doing that, and you'll see me do that when I hit armor boxes as the field upgrade, if I have time, of course. Um, but if you're hitting an armor box, you usually have more time than, say, if you were trying to hit a muni box. A muni box is basically like a reload. So in priority, you're always going to want to prioritize a reload over a replate. Um, and the reason for that is uh, you have to end the threat as soon as possible. You have to kill the other guy before he kills you. And it doesn't matter if you have 30 plates in your bag if you're dead. Um, all that's wasted. Um, it does matter if you can kill him and stop him from doing damage to you. So that's why you're always going to want to prioritize a reload in like a broken state, um, in a state where you can't get to an advantageous position or behind cover, something like that. You're going to want to actually start reloading your guns, or at least one gun, before you start putting in plates. Now, oftentimes you have the time to at least put in one plate and then start a reload, but you, as a rule of thumb, you want to prioritize the reload first, and that is so that you can do damage back to the guy and stop the threat entirely. If you stop the threat, you have no reason to put in any more armor plates to start gaining health again. Um, but if you don't stop the threat, again, it doesn't matter if you have all the armor boxes in the world, you're going to die. You're not going to do enough damage to stop damage coming into you. And so that is a skill that you need to practice in game, and it's a skill completely driven by discipline. So that's a disciplinary action on yourself, and those are the hardest skills to train. It's um, it's not as straightforward as how to slide, when and how to sprint, when to creep, when to, when, how to aim. those are really straightforward kind of skills, and those demand like nothing of you, just an understanding and actually practice. Um, but a disciplinary skill is something that will elevate your gameplay at several levels at a time. So, like you will accelerate your progress as a player if you can work on those disciplinary skills as much as those active, straightforward, intentional skills. And and that's pretty much it for my lecture on the inventory system. I'm sorry if I bored you to tears, but I could go on, trust me, and I will. But um, what I want to do now is actually I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to take care of something IRL, and I'm going to resume the stream in just a bit. A couple more of my friends have popped online. We have a better chance of throwing together a team to get into Al Mazrah and to get into some PvP. And if I can't throw together a team, I'm just going to get in there solo and start doing some regain runs, maybe even some crazy PvP runs solo. But I really do need that cash. Um, I've only got 34. I've got less than $35,000 out of a possible $700,000, and so to me, that's actually um, the difference between a full play session and not. So uh, if I have the cash on me, I am even if I'm fully kitted out like I am now, and I'm gonna come in with a preferred weapon loadout. I'm actually gonna start with $10,000, and that's my minimum for even a fully kitted operator if I have the cash on me. So if I die the next couple rounds, and I uh, end up if I die 3 raids in a row and I end up with only 4.6k left, that's when I'm going to start going into hoarder mode, into ultra reserve, frugality, and I'm going to start bringing in a grand at a time or 2 grand at a time or something like that. Um, so I really do need to start my regain runs, and um, the reason I take in 10k even on a fully kitted operator is that that's enough for two munitions boxes. That's enough for a munitions box, some plates, a um, and one attachment on a gun from a workbench. So like, if I choose to come in with only one weapon and I don't and I and that's all I'm coming in with, I'm going to pick up a secondary from either a dead guy or a bot, and I'm going to make sure that the secondary has an extended mag on it. Like in the case of a Vaznev, you're going to want a 45 round mag instead of the 30 round base mag, and the reasons for that should be obvious, but I can go into that later. Um, but 10k will also put you $10,000 closer to buying a kill streak. And the cheapest kill streak that is on offer at any buy station is going to be something like a mortar strike, um, and that's going to be somewhere in the range of like $22,000, and a little bit more than that, 22,000 plus. So if you bring in 10k and don't have to spend it, you can get to a buy that has a cheaper kill streak. You're already halfway there to a kill streak. Um, that's huge, especially if you are not coming in with a kill streak, don't have any reason to use a UAV if you know exactly where a team is, something like that. So uh, the more kill streaks, the better. You can go overboard, but that's a very rare problem that you're going to have, is having too many kill streaks. Your never going to have enough kill streaks is actually what's going to happen. And it's actually quite rare for me to get out of a match with a kill streak intact. Um, because even if I, go the whole raid without using a kill streak, typically I'm fighting towards final. I'm fighting my way out of the match. I'm not a glitcher or exploiter, so I just play the game as designed, organically as intended, and I'm using my kill streaks to survive, to at the very least to help me get out and secure my exfil. Um, so I'm very rarely coming in with a kill streak. I've not spent any money on the game. I don't have any pay-to-win operator skins or whatnot. A lot of these, there are many operator skin options that come in with UAVs off the bat, which is what we gamers call a pay-to-win thing. It's a microtransaction. It's very bad. This has been in the gaming industry for a while now. It's absolutely terrible. You know, but it is what it is. This game has that in there. I've not chosen to partake in any of that, so just on principle, um, it would obviously be nice to have a UAV all the time, but I don't do it on a matter of principle. You should rely on your skills and your wits only to become better and become successful at a competitive uh, event like this. Um, so I don't believe in you know spending money to get a in-game advantage. That's just, it doesn't sit right with me. But anyway, I'm gonna take care of something real quick. I'm gonna hop back on. There will be a part 2 coming up shortly, and stick in there, guys. We're gonna get to it in just a moment.